Oil furnace won't start. Reset green light blinking, but when I press it and then release it keeps blinking with no result.
Hi, I am Dan. I can help you with this. Do you know the brand and model of the burner and primary control, or can you take a picture of the burner and post it here?
I've added a pic of the burner.
Okay, did you push and hold the button in for 3 seconds then release? If not, try that first.
The first time I did it, the burner started up for a moment then stopped and the light went back to blinking. I have tried half a dozen times since, holding the button for a few seconds and releasing. Now it does not start, only blinks. I have also flipped the furnace fuse switch in the electric box for a moment and turned it back on.
Okay, your burner is in latch up for safety after pressing the reset too many times. You only push it once. If it does not work after that, the problem will need to be fixed. The first thing we will need to check is oil flow. You will need to disconnect the nozzle line and point it in a bottle and watch the oil flow coming out and make sure it does not sputter.
I did that. The oil flow is steady.
Okay, and when was the last time you had a cleaning of the furnace?
Not since I moved in, 2007.
And no filters or anything have been changed since then?
No.
Okay, then that is definitely part of your problem. Oil burners need to be cleaned every year. Your best bet at this point is having a company come out and do a full cleaning. That should solve the problem, and if not, they can at least tell you what is wrong so you can fix it.
They were supposed to come today, but the snowstorm moved in and they canceled.
Okay, we cannot diagnose anything else until at least the filters and nozzle are replaced. If you have some, I can walk you through replacing them.
I do not have anything. And going to the store is not possible. I knew it needed attention, that's why I called my technician to come out. But it has worked perfectly until last night. I was hoping there was some step that would let it work until next week.
The only other thing I would recommend is if you remove the gun assembly and take a picture of that, I can make sure that is okay.
Is that complex?
No, just undo the clamp on the transformer, lift up and remove the nut after the nozzle line and pull the whole gun assembly out. And take a picture of the end where the nozzle is.
If I do that, is there a chance I might be able to do something to get it running? Or is it simply an exercise to check the condition?
There is a slight chance that maybe the electrodes are dirty or something, but most likely it will require parts to fix if it is okay.
Where is the clamp?
Loosen and swing the clamps out of the way, then the transformer flips back. If in hard lockout, hold button in for 30 seconds. Then see if unit starts. And that transformer is 10,000 volts, so be careful if you do that. But first hold reset down for 30 seconds.
Here are 2 pics. I held the reset for 30 seconds. The burner came on but did not fire.
Great, so now the unit came out of hard lockout. Now open bleeder. Have a jar or can handy to put under bleeder. Start unit. See if oil comes out bleeder.
Oil comes oil beautifully.
And then turn oil off and start unit. Look in port to see if any spark from electrodes.
How do I look to see if spark?
Depends of furnace frame, but there is usually a flip-up inspection port. If sparking, you can see the flashing inside the dark exchanger.
I don't find anything like that. I did reset again and turn all the lights off but saw nothing.
Thank you. Do you happen to have a voltmeter?
No.
Post pic of the front of furnace so I can see top to bottom.
Okay.
Well, that explains no viewport. You have a boiler. So no viewport. Here is the story. You know you have oil supply, you know motor runs, the only item missing is spark and oil getting together. This means no spark or corroded endpoint. I agree with previous tech that the only way of checking, without a meter, is to pull the whole burner out. Turn off oil. And start. Then you can see at the end of the spark electrodes are actually sparking. But changing any settings, taking things apart at the electrodes will really mess things up. I'm going to say it's best to have looked at. I know it is inconvenient, but we don't want to make things worse or unsafe.
Okay, thank you for your help.
Okay, now that I can reply, we will go back to fixing it before we were so rudely interrupted. You do have a viewport, but that will not help you in this case. Plus, it is very dangerous to look in there with a malfunctioning burner. We do not check oil flow from the bleeder. Oil flow is determined by the flow from the nozzle line. There is no reason at all to remove the whole burner. This is the nozzle line. You have to disconnect this line in order to remove the gun assembly, then it just slides out.
Oh, that makes sense. I didn't disconnect that, I did the bleeder. So disconnect the nozzle and put a jar under it and do the rest again. Reset.
Yes, try that first with a soda bottle, as it will be high pressure coming out of there.
Okay, hang on. No oil came out of the nozzle when I reset and the unit tried to run.
You have a solenoid valve on it, so there is a 15 seconds delay and then oil should flow. Did you wait at least 15 seconds? Okay, then you definitely have an oil flow problem, so either the filter or line is closed. If it is an emergency, you can remove the filter at the oil tank and run it for a short time if needed until it gets fixed.
But the oil comes out so well at the bleeder on the unit. Doesn't that mean it's getting into the first stage before the burner? Here's the filter and side view of the part the nozzle comes out of.
It means you are getting some oil. If there is not enough flow of oil, the regulating valve in the fuel unit will remain closed until it can build up enough pressure to send the oil to the nozzle. That is why we test flow from the nozzle line, not the bleeder.
How do I bypass the filter?
The next thing to try is to just remove the filter. It is just a cartridge in this canister. Remove the blot on the top and then drop down and pull the filter out and then reinstall empty canister. After that, it will be necessary to bleed the burner from the air.
Okay, remove the filter, bled line, reset it twice. No go.
Okay, then it is very possible the line underground is clogged. In order to clear this, it requires some specific tools and techniques. At this point, a technician is your best bet. Most reputable companies will come out 24/7. You may want to have someone come out to fix it at this point. Next, if you could rate me on my service by selecting one of the 5 stars, I would appreciate it. Thank you for using JustAnswer.
Okay, thanks for your help.
Thank you.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert, now visit justanswer.com/ythi.